And in promoting entrepreneurship among Nigerian youths, the Junior Achievers of Nigeria, a non-profit initiative, has concluded its venture in management program for 50 participants in Lagos. Speaking at a social networking timeout, the executive director of the group challenged the youth to take on the responsibility of leadership wherever they find themselves.
50 participants of the 16th edition of Venture in Management program converge at a social networking timeout conducted by Junior Achievers of Nigeria, a non-profit organization committed to entrepreneurship and leadership mentoring.
I look to you guys to pay it forward now that you've had this week of wonderful immersion in business management education to really think about what you're going to do with your one wild and beautiful life and how you're going to go out and really be the leaders that Nigeria needs.
Perhaps sharing experiences of breaking the ice in an economically hostile environment could be a source of inspiration. The head of African Capital Alliance, one of the sponsors of this initiative, tells a story.
Junior Achievement Nigeria focuses on building entrepreneurial skills in the youth, and the mission of the African Capital Alliance Foundation is to improve the private sector, and we feel that this can be done on 3 legs: ethical leadership, good governance, and entrepreneurship.
The Venture in Management program is a week-long program that builds into a job fair. Some of the participants reflect on how they've been able to learn and participate in the program.
STEAM has helped me understand that MBA is applicable to everybody. I don't need to be in business.
Members of the network of the JAN alumni also share some of the opportunities garnered from the JAN leadership training.
It gave me a canvas on which I could paint my life, the vision I have for my career.
Going to Lagos Business School then was the first time I went there. Boy, I saw excellence. I saw excellence in every sense of the word.
With all the knowledge gathering, the Junior Achievers of Nigeria seems to be making a big statement on the need to change the society positively through entrepreneurial drive and manpower development.
We give them the opportunity to expand their horizons, to go through a one-week intensive program with LBS, like a mini MBA program, if you will, and to experience other things to see if they want to go into entrepreneurship or if they want to stick with their line of study. Knowledge
acquisition is vital, but how to change the world using the skills learned from the Junior Achievers program seems the main challenge cut out for these set of participants.
And for the latest business stories, here's Emana Amare.
You first. First Bank.
Many thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Business News. Nigeria's acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says the federal government is packaging urgent relief measures for the country's struggling poultry industry to address the challenges in the agriculture subsector. Professor Osinbajo, who met with representatives of the poultry industry last week, Thursday, summoned another meeting today where relevant ministers and agency heads brainstormed on how to bail out the industry. Nigeria's poultry industry, which is projected to generate over 14 million direct and indirect jobs, contends with various challenges, including an outbreak of bird flu, which affected almost 4 million birds. In 2015, non-allocation of foreign exchange for the importation of critical machinery and high cost of production. And Liberty Holdings says it plans to acquire a 75% stake in a Nigerian long-term insurer for 160 million rand, about $12 million. The company, which is South Africa's 4th biggest insurance firm by market value, already has a presence in Nigeria through Total Health Trust, after buying the remaining shares it didn't already own for 142 million rand in August 2015. In 2016, Liberty Holdings concluded 3 short-term insurance acquisitions in Uganda, Malawi, Botswana, and received its license in Lesotho to operate a life and health business. And overnight lending rates at the Nigerian interbank market plunged to about 15% today, from around 133% the previous day, as the market looks forward to the injection of the monthly federal allocations that was approved for February 2017. The interbank rate spiked to around 200% on average this week, as commercial lenders provided funds for several currency sales via interventions from the central bank, which drove up the cost of borrowing among banks. In the meantime, traders expect the interbank lending rate to open below double digits next week, once the allocation is dispersed. The local stock market dropped 62 basis points today, its biggest decline this week amidst a narrow gain as analysts point to low investors' confidence on equities. Bisi Adebayo has more details on the day's tradings.
Transactions on the Nigerian Stock Exchange sees the market reverse the only major gain recorded this week as the all-share index falls by 0.62% at the close of Friday's trading session. Analysts attribute Friday's lackluster performance to the negative breadth of 19 losers against 12 gainers, as well as muted activities on some key stocks that could have moved the market. The major drivers of the price losses in percentage value are ICO Group, which lost about 8% to lead Africa Prudential and 17 others. Better Glass, Stanbic IBTC and United Capital were the most significant gainers with more than 4% increases in their prices. Overall, investors traded a total of 259.31 million shares worth over 2.42 billion naira in 2,402 deals, and much of that volume is traced to ICO Group. That's it on the stock market reports. I am Bisi Adebayo.
Thank you, Bisi. U.S. markets have reversed losses recorded earlier today to close in the green, sustaining the Trump bump rally. With more details on what traders are watching is VOA Channel's TV business correspondent, Jill Malandrino from the NASDAQ market site in New York.
U.S. stocks open lower Friday morning. It's actually the worst open for the major averages in February so far. As of now, the S&P 500 is clinging to a weekly gain. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is also higher on the week, while the NASDAQ is down for the third day in a row, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Pullbacks are healthy in this type of market where we've had such a significant uptrend, and it gives investors an opportunity to get into stocks that have had massive runs. We saw a bit of a setback in the industrial materials sectors following reports of a potential delay in a spending package set by the Trump administration, which has been a real tailwind for stocks over the last few months. With that, let's take a look at where we are coming from. Stocks have been up over 13% since the November 8th election coming into today's trade. Just take a look at where the financials were a year ago at this time. Remember that February 11th low where the S&P 500 was down 14%. Now we are seeing the banks trade above book value, and we have not seen that in quite a long time. Technology is another hot area. The FTSE US Technology Index was up an incredible 15 days in a row. Coming into Thursday's session, that's an all-time record. The previous record was 12 sessions in July 2009. Incredibly, tech was higher for 15 trading days this February. Tech really has been the true leader this year, which is impressive given the post-election weakness on potential policy concerns. Those concerns didn't pan out, and tech is close to breaking above its peak from 2000. From the NASDAQ market site in New York, I'm Jill Malandrino. This is VOA Channel's Business News.
And leading world bourses ended Friday's session on a negative note as a fall in commodities and a number of disappointing earnings reports weighed on investors' sentiment. But the U.S. markets closed in positive territory, reversing earlier setbacks. In the meantime, investors are awaiting U.S. President Donald Trump's speech to Congress next week. Let's see the figures. And that's our package on Business News tonight. I'm Imana Amawe. Millicent.
You first. First Bank.
Many thanks, Emana. First Bank of Nigeria Limited, a leading financial powerhouse in partnership with First Street, has unveiled a best-in-class travel and business lounge at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. Known as First Lounge, the facility is the first and only premium lounge before crossing all checks at the airport. The lounge is designed to ease stress of travelers and non-travelers and provide them with comfort and convenience in addition to lifestyle banking services.
Waiting at the Lagos International Airport, whether you are seeing someone off or traveling, can be very discomforting. But not to worry, the solution is here. This is First Lounge. It's an initiative of First Bank of Nigeria. It is the only premium cozy lounge on this side of the airport. Services like the issuance of cards for use abroad, last-minute payment of fees via transfer, withdrawals, dedicated ARM points and more, all in one environment.
The lounge was specifically designed to give our customers and other users of the lounge maximum comfort, all the facilities that you think of that you should have in any international or decent lounge have been provided here.
First Bank has partnered First Street on this to drive innovation, ease of banking, leveraging technology with offers like high-speed internet, light meals, beverages, kiddies corner, and more.
We realize that a lot of them travel, a lot of them pass through the international airport. So we feel that it's an area which will continue to interact with them.
We have a particular challenge in Nigeria because landside, that is before you check in, we don't often have many facilities, and some of the ones we have over the last year, so many years, have been eroded. So this represents a clear opportunity for people who are traveling landside to be able to avail themselves of the sorts of facilities they would get once they've checked in on the other side, which is to rest, to eat, to relax whilst they're waiting for their flights.
First Bank says it is staying first again in bringing convenience, ease of banking and comfort all in one suite.
And something to look forward to this weekend, especially if you're in this part of Nigeria. But the National Space Research and Environment Agency says Nigeria will experience a partial solar eclipse on Sunday, February the 26th, 2017. In a press statement, the agency explains that the partial solar eclipse will be visible all over Nigeria with varying degrees of totality. It adds that the southern part of the country, particularly Port Harcourt, Uyo and Calabar, are expected to have the highest degree of obscurity level in the range of 33%, while the obscurity level in the northern region will be about 9% and more pronounced in Kebbi State. The southwest region will be in the range of about 23% between 5 to 7 p.m., while the southeast will record 28 to 30% obscurity between 4 to 7 p.m. The same time with the federal capital city, but at a varying degree of 20%. The statement asked Nigerians not to panic, as solar eclipse is a natural occurrence. And still ahead on the news at 10, respite comes the way of Sunshine FC players after league management company pays 50% of their salaries. That's on sports. Stay with us.